Joining us on the phone lines, he is the head coach of the Siena Saints men's basketball program, Coach Jimmy Patsos. Coach, good morning. It's Gaz and Chris Honorado. How are you this morning?
Hey, Chris. How are you?
What's up, Jimmy?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
We're doing
Good,
great. Hey, we're going to start talking about the matchup you had against Bucknell. A good win for you guys. What were some of the best takeaways in that victory for you?
You know, just to close out a game, I want to thank the people at Glens Falls. I want to thank Ken Grant, Dennis Bates, you know, the people that worked at Siena. We had to bring up a backup basket, shot clocks, tables for the end zone. They really did a good job setting it up. They've made some improvements up there. Mr. Mead, who runs the whole place. I just like Glens Falls. Of course, the snow couldn't have come at a more inopportune time, so we didn't have quite as many fans, and safety first always. But cool place to play, great sight lines. I like the town, and I'm hoping we get to go back up there in the near future.
Yeah, Bucknell's a good team. Obviously, they have been historically, and I think that ends up kind of being maybe even a jump-off game for you guys, Coach Patsos. Hofstra's another good team, though. I mean, this non-conference thing just keeps getting tougher as you guys wrap up 2016. For people who may not know too much about the Pride, obviously they were terrific last year. What makes them so good this year?
Oh, they have probably one of the best centers in the country. He's just a tremendous player. Gokus is he went to Oak Hill. You know, he signed early with Hofstra, or he could have gone to a BCS school.
Right.
He's leading the country with 14 rebounds a game. He's just a 6'8", strong player. So Javion and Sammy Friday and Evan Fisher will, by committee, have to guard him. You know, Bernardi, who was at SMU, of all places. I know Albany played them really tough last night. He's a transfer from the BCS level and played there. He's a shooter that can play. They lost to, and then they have Pemberton, a freshman who played with Tom Herter at Cheshire. So they have a really good team. Joe Mahalk is an excellent coach. He was at Niagara forever. It's funny, he left in Niagara to go to Hofstra, and I left to come to Siena in the same year. We both worked at, the Catholic League in Washington, D.C. Really good offensive coach, Joe. Yes, he'll probably be wearing a camel's hair jacket. That's probably safe to say. But, you know, whether it's 68 degrees, 58 degrees, or 108 degrees at a wedding, that guy is committed to the camel hair. He's a really good offensive coach and a good guy. And one of the things we did was just said, let's play this game. You know, their AD, Jeff Hathaway, was Greg Manning's father's roommate at Maryland. There's all these connections. And, you know, Hofstra's going to come here next year, and we're going to keep playing good teams, and that's how you get better, and it's good for the crowds, and it's good basketball, and that's just the way it's going to be. So another tough test, but it'd be nice to get off to the Christmas break with a road win.
And the head coach of the Siena Saints men's basketball program, Jimmy Patsos, joins us here on the phone lines. Big Board Sports, it's Gaz and Chris Honorado filling in for Roger and Zach today. Coach, with a big guy like that for Hofstra, are you telling Javion Okanyemi and everybody out there, look, we need a body on him every single possession so he doesn't dominate us on the rebounding like he's done with other teams in the country this season?
No, you're exactly right. Look, they played Kentucky. They were down 2 at halftime. Mm-hmm. Sure, some guys you can out-jump for rebounds. Sometimes you can this guy you got to put a body on him. You know, Santi Shivers will have to get in there and help. Brett's always going to, Brett's a great rebounder. He's always going to do all the work he can do. And it's just about staying out of foul trouble, making them work, 40 minutes. Like I said, we played 30, 32 good minutes all year. I thought we got up to 36. We had a little 3 or 4 minute stretch at Bucknell where Bucknell, who's beat Vanderbilt, Richmond, Manhattan, and Fairfield, they're in the top 25 for the mid-major. So we gutted it out, but we had a bad 4 minute stand. Just trying to get a little more consistent, especially on the defensive end. I thought Levon handled his first game at the point well. I will have another chat with him today that he doesn't have to turn into Magic Johnson in the second game. Ball will be flying all over the place. But he really did handle it. The couple situations we went over this week that he worked on. Doing a better job in practice. My assistant coaches get a lot of credit. We're just focusing and concentrating on situations, getting key defensive stops, which we got against Bucknell because our defense has to pick up and, staying a little bit out of foul trouble. But this is another tough test, and that's why we play them.
Jimmy, can you kind of take us inside the room and the conversation to have Levon play the one? Obviously, Marquise can play the one, but he's such a good scorer. Kind of makes sense to have him off the ball. Can you take us inside that kind of thought process?
Jeez, You guys are trying to get me, they're going to take me away in a straitjacket. No, LeVon has always known the game. His mother was a great player at Iowa.
Yeah.
Kidding aside, LeVon played some point his senior year in high school. Told someone a story about Dennis Johnson. He was a 4-man in high school. He was a 3-man at Pepperdine. Their point guard got hurt, and he ends up being the guy Larry Bird says he's probably the best player he ever played with, most cerebral. LeVon knows all the positions. He knows what's going on. He's tall, so he's not as quick, so he can stay, off his man, play off of him, and then the guys to shoot over him. But he really does know what's going on out there. He's got a great mind for the game, and he's a willing passer. It doesn't bother him if he doesn't score. Now, that being said, they're going to probably press us more this time because we kind of caught Bucknell off guard. But that's where Marquise is great because I need Marquise up the court. He's so good in the open court. Now, they press LeVon. He goes to half court. You throw it to him, and hopefully he can help press behind there when we take the ball out. Kadeem Smitten showed he gave us like 6 good minutes. He's been practicing better. He's probably my 8th man right now. And then Nico can handle it. Nico's been winning us games. Nico's not perfect in terms of health or, whether he can practice all the time, but he practiced hard the other day, and Nico can help us win games. And so, Nico comes off the bench, gives you 28 minutes, so that LeVon doesn't have to handle the ball all the time, but he knows how to run the offense. He'll still rebound. And I'm interested. I was telling Ashley yesterday, this is a thing we're going to kind of stick with for a while and see if it can work, because what LeVon Long does is competes and wants to win. Okay, I know he beats to his own drum. We all know that, and I don't mind that. But he wants to win.
Yep.
And he knows how to compete, and he'll rebound. I mean, I thought his block shot might have been the key play of the game, stuff like that against Bucknell. So he just needs to be out there. And with Santi Shivers playing well, it's just sort of a numbers game of where do you put everybody. It's just a puzzle. Nico off the bench, Stanley Friday starting to play, give us some minutes inside. We're going to need him. And then Kadeem Smitten, who's, he had a little injury knee, he had a little shoulder, everybody's banged up. But I told Kadeem, you just got to come in and run the team. Hey, Chris, everybody does it. They transfer to the MAC. I've seen it a million times. They think they're dropping down a level, and it's a lot tougher than they thought it was. They think they're just going to drop 12 or 15, and I'm like, look at all these guys are good players. And so Kadeem, we just need him to be solid. His future is the next 2 years to play a ton of minutes. So right now we need a guy that can play 8 to 10 minutes and bring the ball up. So it's a work in progress. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Coach Jimmy Patsos joining us here on the phone lines. It's Goss and Chris Honorado filling in for Roger Weiland and Zach Ba here on Big Board Sports 104.5. The team. And Coach, I'm not sure if you had a chance to see what happened last night. It's making a little bit of national news involving a former coach for the Siena Saints, Fran McCaffrey. Coach McCaffrey's team plays against North Dakota. They're up by 11 points, less than 15 seconds to go. North Dakota steals the ball out of a player for Iowa's hands and lays it up, and the game's out of reach. And Coach McCaffrey does not want to shake hands with North Dakota for that play at the end of the game. What is the etiquette at the end of the last 30 seconds in a game like that?
Well, I had a kid do that before. Actually, he was here, and I understand that. Look, Fran's a competitor, but he's a good person. And by the way, North Dakota got a check for that game. In other words, did you check cash? Yeah.
Right.
Deal with the game. It's just an experience for the kids. When that one time that happened to me where a kid stole the ball, I was thoroughly angry and upset and embarrassed for myself and for the kid for a while. I saw the highlight. My wife showed it to me this morning. I don't think that's okay. Whether you shake hands or not, that's not my call, okay? Everybody has their own way of handling things. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. The game was out of reach. There's 10 seconds left. And then I heard there was a scuffle prior. You don't want kids getting hurt. These are money games. Money games, you can win them. It's about a 3% chance you can win a money game. That's real number. It's between 2 and 4% every year of how many times teams get paid and win.
Wow.
Well, for instance, us going to GW, we lose by 2. That was a great effort because the odds would say we're going to lose. Kansas, those are money games. Great chance for North Dakota to get some money. They go play at a great place like Iowa. Game's over. I know you're telling your kids to compete, but the guy had the ball. And then I heard about the hard foul before that. You don't want anybody getting hurt. So it's a fine line, but Fran's my friend. I'm on Fran's side, and I think Fran will be fine today. Look, I heard his comments about the coach. He said, hey, he's a good guy. It just happens. It's the heat of the moment, but you don't want a guy getting hurt. Fran's got a young team that's beat Iowa. They beat Iowa State. They beat Iowa. they're on the verge, but they probably can't afford to have a guy go down. I know this is a young team of his.
That jock kid.
The last thing you want is a fight or rejection. You don't want a guy getting his eye poked out because some guy just knocked the ball loose. And, like I said, I was pissed off and angry and embarrassed when my kid stole the ball with 10 seconds to go when Ronald Moore was dribbling out. And quite frankly, that might have been the end of my relationship with that player. To be honest with you, that was like, I didn't like, that was the beginning of the end of my relationship with that player because I was so mad he did it. So I totally understand why Fran was so mad.
Hey, Jimmy, one more. I'll let you get out of here on this. But as you know, we love basketball, but I love to talk to you about things outside of basketball, too. So here's just kind of a random one for you. I'm going to ask you to go back. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be childhood. It would be for me. What is the best Christmas gift you've ever gotten?
Oh, my God. It was the three-wheeler, yellow banana, like you sat down low, the big wheel in the front.
Yeah.
Wheel in the back.
Yeah.
It was one of those Christmases, my parents were still together and all that stuff. I sort of remember, Christmas when you were a kid running down. But I remember getting the bike. But it's a whole, I really want our players to have a good time over Christmas. That's why I'd like to get a win. But we're giving them 4 days off. This is our first big break because we traveled a lot.
Right.
Mine was Chinese food and movies with my family. That's what we did in the afternoon. But it's a great holiday, obviously, for the Christian aspect, but hopefully you guys get the gifts you want. What are you getting, Chris? You go to the jewelry store?
Easy now. You never know who's listening.
That's right. Well, you should. So, anyways, I went to Northeastern Jewelers yesterday, so I'm guilty too.
So you're set.
I think Christmas is a great day. I'm going to take the team to see Fences that opens on Christmas Day with Denzel, but I am very busy watching the Ravens beat the Steelers. Our season comes down to one day at 4:30 on Christmas Day, so that's what I'm doing. Watching Flacco please throw 3 touchdowns and not 3 interceptions.
Coach, the best gift I get for Christmas is getting time away from Levac. I get days away from Levac, which is great for me.
We all get our different gifts. I'll bring you guys Sienna gear for your Christmas. I'm not bringing those other 2 any gear. All right? Guys later.
See you, Coach.